Welcome back, Transformer TCG fans. Okay, we're going to look at 3 more base cards. We're going to try to do 3 here in about 15 minutes. We left off with Sherman Dam, and up next is Space Debris. Right? So Space Debris is a black-green pip base card. When this scraps a ship-based base card, each player does 1 damage to a character they control in alt mode. So, well, we have a lot of different cards that will just do damage to a character at the start of turn, or a bot, or both players have to do damage to maybe a character in bot mode, etc., etc. When Space Debris is scrapped by a ship-based card, so you might want to have some ship-based base cards, and we have a few. There's the Quintesson ship, there's Ravage's cloaking ship, we have the Decepticon ship, Galvatron's ship, Octane's ship, and there's another one coming up too that we haven't gone over, a Bounty Hunter ship. So there's a few in here, and so that'll be a plus. And you definitely, if you have a large, if you're 3 wide, 4 wide, whatever, just make sure your characters are in bot mode, and they'll be fine if you knock Space Debris out. That way you are doing damage mostly to your opponent that way. But while this is in play, while this card is in the battlefield, reduce total pierce by 2 for each spaceship and mercenary for battle. So, okay, yeah, there's 2 different lines here, and the top always has while this card is in the battlefield. And even though I have when this scraps below that, that is only going to happen when Space Debris is scrapped by another base card that has to have ship in it. And I will give a pass. Yes, Megatron's Starship, even though Starship is all one word, well, we can include that. It's got ship in the title. It's in the word Starship, so yeah, I'll allow it. Because we have the Mercenary ship, we have Megatron's Starship, we have a Junkion ship, we have an Octane ship, we have, so we got a couple of ship cards that you can try to utilize this with. And you'll be able to reduce pierce by 2 for each spaceship and mercenary for battle. So, and just make sure and that's just a plus. That's just a plus. If your enemy, your opponent does not have spaceships or mercenaries, then that's not going to do anything. Just make sure you don't have spaceships or mercenaries on your team. So that is Space Debris. The next one, let's look at Spy in the Sky, base card that, it sounds more like an action card or a secret action card, and I started off with that in that direction, but I've changed it to a base card now, and it is orange and green. It is a Predacon faction card. After the active player chooses the defender and had a Predacon character on their starting team, the active player, I have the arrow here, you may play a secret action for turn. So you're going to be able to get in another secret action, basically. As long as you're playing Predacons, or you had one, especially, my Tarantulas, or one of my Tarantulas is utilizes in secret actions, kind of like Skywarp does, one of the original Skywarps. So, there's that, characters to look at that you can get the most out of this. And that's really all Spy in the Sky does. Let's continue on. Let's look at Standing Stones, which is a white and green. This is a the green has the beast trait on it, so beast trait can be anybody, can be anything. I've made the oh goodness, what are they called? Magnaboss combiner. I tried making the Predacon combiner, and right now in Earth Wars they're kind of highlighting those guys. So those combiners, no, we already have them. I'm use Magnaboss all the time. He's everyone's favorite if you're playing Autobots. I can't remember the other one. Oh gosh. But and I've made those characters. We have beast traits for the Decepticon headmasters from Wave 5, etc., etc. So you're using all those types of characters, or any of the Beast War type characters, whether they're mine or someone else's. You're going to be able to get this on the flip. Otherwise, you can draw it. But at the start of turn, so when you play this at the start of your turn, the start of the turn has already ended. So it's not going to trigger when you play it. It's going to trigger at the next turn, at the start of your opponent's turn. So always remember that. Don't get into a hussy or fussy and say, well, this gets triggered now. No. It's at the start of your turn. You play it. The start of the turn is over. So you're not be able to do damage yet. It's going to happen at the start of at the end of your attack and at the start of their turn. If they play a base card for the start of their turn to knock it out, the trigger has already happened. So at the start of turn, each player does 1 damage to each character equipped with an armor. You're not knocking off their armors, you're damaging those with armors. So again, some of these base cards may be good sideboard fodder for if you realize, oh, you have a space bridge, you have 3 or 6 or whatever base cards in your deck, and they have a lot of heavy armors or emergency barricades or whatever for orange pip kind of deck fare, that you can be like, let me swap this base card out for standing stones and I can get in some extra damage. So there's that. Energon type upgrades cannot be played by either player. So Energon Axe, Energon Mace, any of the Energon cards that I've created cannot be played. Anything with if it's got the word Energon and it's an upgrade, it cannot be played. Why? I don't know. It's just the standing stones. It just felt like something else needed to be, another prevention of having your opponent try to play something. They're like, ooh, well, I'm damaged. I can put an Energon Axe on my character now. Nope, because standing stones is in play unless they knocked it out at the start of their turn. So there's that. I think we have time for one more. Let's look at Stuck Space Bridge, which is a white pip in green. Only spaceships can get this on the flip. When this is played, do 1 damage to each spaceship. Of course, if no one has spaceships, is playing spaceships, it's a trait that is very few in between, unless someone happens to be playing my Spetabots. Then they're in trouble. I think Elita 1, is there an Elita 1 with a spaceship trait? Alpha Trion, Astro Train, of course. We have a few spaceships. Shockwave, Soundwave. Characters in bot mode cannot flip for turn to alt mode. So if you have a character in alt, if this is in play, you can flip from alt mode to bot mode. But if they're in bot mode, they can't flip back for turn. Okay, and at the same time, unconventional flying objects cannot be played by either player. So the flip may not be able to happen for turn, but you can still flip them to alt mode with an escape route or rapid conversion. Those would work. But for turn, if you're trying to flip for turn from bot mode to alt mode, in any alt mode, not just spaceship, but just alt mode is not. This is going to prevent that. But and if you are using spaceship, or even your opponent is using spaceship traits, bada bing, bada boom, they're not going to be able to get triggers off using the UFO card. Okay, so that is pretty much stuck Space Bridge. And that's really all I have time for. I thought I was going to be able to, we were going to be able to look at one more, but at least we got to look over Space Debris, Spy in the Sky, Standing Stones, and Stuck Space Bridge. I feel like I've done this over and over many times because I kind of have. But now with actually updating the card look and some final tweaks and text and whatnot, I think these are looking and reading a lot better than they were before. Well, let's look at Styx real quick, because it's the only one before Sumdac Tower, and we've already gone through Sumdac Tower through the valley. So Styx is a triple pip. It is white, black, and green. Each Decepticon has Pierce 2 for battle. Fusion Bore can't be played by either player, so this is going to prevent Fusion Bores from being played. Reducing Autobots total Pierce by 2 for battle. Should I have just said, oh, that was me. I forgot the new term ATP came up with a year and a half ago. I forgot the term. Sturdy. Should I have said, each Autobot has Sturdy 2? No, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, reducing total Pierce by 2 for battle for an Autobot, that makes more sense. So, you're going to be giving Decepticons more Pierce, reducing Autobot Pierce, preventing either you and your opponent from playing Fusion Bores while it's in play. So if you have it, utilizing a little more strategy here. If you have Fusion Bore, play it. If you play Styx and it's in play, yeah, that's fine. Just the base card Styx, which this is actually a pretty cool picture from one of the comics that I've got. IDW comic, I think. I think it came with a character, one of the figures, when years ago they were putting comics with the figures during the Combiner War era, I think. So I think, but yeah, because it's a picture of a comic that I did with my phone, it's not really scanned per se. That's why it has a bit of a funny look to it, and it's probably kind of a copyright issue, possibly. So that's why it's a little grainy, and that was the best I could do, and I think it looks fine for what it is for the game, for a base card. And it is like a ship, but it kind of looks like a base also, but I'm pretty sure this is a ship. I'm pretty sure its name is Styx, reading through that comic. So that's really all I have time for right now. So we got to look at 5 base cards today: Space Debris, Spy in the Sky, Standing Stones, Stuck Space Bridge, and Styx. That finishes file 4 for now. Up next, in the next video, we're going to really be getting into the final base cards with file 5. And there's about 30, where'd it go? 35 or 36 in that set. And like I said, there's another ship coming. It's the Bounty Hunter ship. While base card, my file 5 may have originally started with the S's through the W's. I ended up using this file for adding sort of, I won't say trash, but the extra cards that I had forgotten, etc. Okay, so you're going to see it's going to start with A, B, and it's going to go through, and you're going to see like the huge hunk of cards that start with V's and W's, and T, U, V, and W. But before we get to those, which is about number 17, and yeah, there are some, because this has been very organic. some of my numbering system may be a little off, and I apologize for that. But because of the nature of fixing things and getting things done, I've gone a little long. I gotta get back to it. We'll see you next time. If you like this content, if you are keeping up with the base cards, you're like, this is interesting. I kind of like what he's doing here. It's a little different. It's adds a little something to the game. Maybe this does work. Let's see if we can break the game with these, utilizing his rules or even breaking his rules, and just see what can happen in a casual game setting. Good luck to you. Throw scraplets at that like button. We'll see you next time. And as always, Autobots, flip out and let's roll.